Part 2. Dealing with Gaming Addiction. Chapter 6. The Dangers of Gaming Addiction. Synopsis. Gaming addiction is also dangerous for humans. It can destroy also the life and good future of a person when the proper treatments for its negative effects were not provided immediately. Just like the other types of addiction, this problem can also make the life of an individual miserable and useless. As much as possible, its dangers must be prevented always to eliminate the most complicated effects of this addiction to humans. Gaming addiction grows faster as the number of computer games in the internet increases. The best way to stop its dangers is to ask for the assistance of the individuals who can inspire the gaming addicts to stop their extreme addiction to computer games. Some individuals believe that gaming addicts can also handle the negative effects of this addiction without the assistance of the authorities. However, it is best to guide them in the process of a rehabilitation program for gaming addicts to get better results in the end. The effects of gaming addiction are not totally different from what the substance addiction can do to the life of a person. It can make an individual crazy in the end. It can also distract the concentration of an individual to the most important tasks, and it also causes sleeplessness. The dangers of gaming addiction. Gaming addiction can affect a person in several ways. It can make the life of an individual miserable and useless for several years if proper therapies and assistance were not provided. One of the dangers of this addiction is the fact that it can make a person violent and dependent to computer games for several days, months, or even for several years. It is one of the main causes of the increased rate of crimes and violations in this world nowadays. It is because gaming addiction exposes an individual to several kinds of unacceptable behavior. The group of children that serves as a victim of this addiction doesn't know the difference between the good and bad because everything that their eyes can see in video games is competitions and violations. In computer games, killing is not a violation. In computer games, stealing and cheating are not form of violations and exploitations of the human rights. Most of the individuals who got addicted to computer games nowadays are no longer responsible and aware of the significance of moral values in their lives. The effects of gaming addiction to human beings are very dangerous. The meaning of the word discipline slowly disappears in this world and in the vocabulary of several individuals because of the presence of online video games and computer games that are promoting vices and crimes in the minds of its regular users. Gaming addiction can victimize all the individuals in this world regardless of their age, gender and status of living. But this type of addiction is very common in male individuals. It is because most of the users of computer games at the present time are men. Chapter 7. Be careful not to get hooked. Synopsis. All of the human beings that are living in this world can be victimized by gaming addiction anytime and anywhere. The addiction will start to attack a person while enjoying several kinds of computer games every day. This type of medical condition grows faster in the behavior of a person who uses computer games regularly. Children, teenagers and adults have no escape from this type of addiction. The only way to stay free from its negative effects is to avoid computer games. It is impossible to eliminate computer games. It is because some of the workers and companies in this world are collecting their salaries and income from the purchasing price of these examples of computer software. Computer games can be used in a good way. Computer addiction will never be part of its cons in the human nature if people know to the proper use and purposes of its different examples in the internet. This type of addiction occurs when a person loses control or limits in the use of computer games. Spending several hours in these entertaining computer software samples can make a person crazy and violent in the end. Be careful not to get hooked. Gaming addiction is very dangerous. But there are so many ways to avoid it. One of the best ways to avoid this type of addiction is to spend more time with friends and family members. Try spending more time on outdoor activities with friends and family members during holiday vacations or break hours to make sure that this type of addiction will never grow in your mind. Based on some studies that were conducted to discover the negative effects of gaming addiction to human beings, most of its victims are the individuals who do not spend more time with friends and family members. Another way of avoiding gaming addiction is to fight your extreme desire to play computer games for several hours. Remember, everything that's considered too much is bad. Moderation is very important in the use of computer games. Those individuals who will ignore this statement will neglect in the end. One of the best ways to apply in your daily life to fight your extreme cravings for computer games is to register in clubs that are promoting outdoor sports where you can socialize and spend more time with other people while forgetting the presence of computer games in this world. Try also to look for an individual who can motivate you to change your attitude and responses when it comes to computer games. Such individual could be one of your parents or friends who are not playing computer games. Accept all their suggestions and be responsible enough while trying to quit from gaming addiction. A support group is highly recommended also at this stage. Most of the staffs of support groups for gaming addiction are former gaming addicts who succeeded in their plans to quit from using computer games to make their way of living in this world much better and more acceptable. Chapter 8. How to know if you can handle it yourself. Synopsis. It is really hard to fight the negative effects of gaming addiction. But you can fight it alone without the assistance of the other individuals if the symptoms are not yet at the worst level. The things that will help you in handling this problem alone are patience and determination. Your plan to quit from the use of computer games will be very useless if determination is not present in your mind. You won't be able to complete your plans also if patience is not present in your mind while trying to fight gaming addiction. How to know if you can handle it yourself. If you feel uncomfortable while playing computer games or you are afraid of the danger of gaming addiction but you know that you are a real example of gaming addict, there's a possibility that you can still handle it by yourself. As long as consciousness, fear of committing violations and discipline is present in your mind, you can resolve the negative effects of computer games in your behavior and attitudes without the assistance of other people. Start in the process of resolving the problem by forgetting the presence of computer games in this world. Spend more time with friends and family members and stay focused on the things and tasks that are more important in your life as a person. You can fight gaming addiction by understanding the real purpose of your life in this world. You have to consider your life as the most precious and wonderful gift that you have in this world in order to survive from the negative effects of the stated addiction. Such recommendation could be very challenging for gaming addicts, but it is the most effective way of resolving the negative effects gaming addiction in their lives as ordinary human beings who got addicted to several kinds of computer games. Learn how to control your cravings by establishing limits on the use of computer games. But it will be much better if you can totally quit from such type of activity right now. Don't fall in love with computer games, for it will destroy you. Be more responsible and never sacrifice the most important things in your life for the sake of those entertaining software. Chapter 9. The best way to beat the addiction before it starts. Synopsis. Gaming addiction is similar to substance addiction. It can destroy the lives of many people. But it can be avoided also by human beings who want to stay free from its negative effects for the rest of their lives. In this chapter, the best way on how to best such type of addiction before it starts will be discussed to help you in achieving your goals. The best way to beat the addiction before it starts. Do you like computer games? Do you have personal computers and internet connection at home? The answers to these questions will tell a person the main causes of gaming addiction nowadays. Such type of addiction will never exist in this world if personal computers and the internet were not invented. Also, this problem will never affect the human beings if computer games were not created. Nobody will refuse to accept these claims because all of its messages are part of the reality. The best way to beat gaming addiction before it starts is answer no on the questions that were given in the previous paragraph. If you do not play computer games, you will be able to fight gaming addiction. If computers and internet are not present in your home, you will never be tempted to try computer games during your holiday vacations and break hours. This is the most effective and reliable way of fighting the type of addiction that was stated. It is because gaming addiction will never attack you if you do not know its presence and the level of entertainment that it can provide. Chapter 10. Learning to separate these games from reality. Synopsis. Gaming addiction is a situation wherein a person has totally forgotten the difference of the reality to the scenes and missions that are present in computer games. It can lead you to several kinds of unacceptable behaviors that can hurt the other people. Learning to separate these games from the reality is one of the best ways of fighting the negative impacts of gaming addiction. Its procedures will be very easy to you if you don't really like computers games. However, if you are one of the gaming addicts who love to use it regularly, it will be very hard for you to separate it from reality. Learning to separate these games from reality. A computer game remains a computer game even if you used it for several times. Consider it as an ordinary form of entertainment that can never be treated as part of the reality. While playing computer games, be sure that you will never lose your consciousness and awareness of the significance of moral values in life. Just stay true to yourself and don't be influenced by the violent scenes and cheats that are present in computer games. If you fall into its negative effects, you will become a loser and a gaming addict who has a very miserable life. When playing computer games, do not be so serious and be responsible enough. Such types of software were created because its manufacturers believe that it will never destroy the behavior of human beings. Do not compare the real world to the scenes that can be found in computer games. It is true that in computer games, the players have free will to do everything that is prohibited in this world. Cheating is not prohibited in these games. Killing is not violation also in computer games. But in the real world, all of these actions are against the human rights. Don't make your life miserable because of spending too much attention and time to computer games.